What's up, traders? Week one of the challenge is done. Two trades taken. One on USD JPY long. That was on Tuesday, and that was a full loss. It was 0.5% risk on that. And then the second on pound JPY, which was short, taken on Thursday, and that was a partial loss. Initial risk was 0.5%. Price moved to 1R. So moved stops to half risk, and then that took me out at 0.25% risk. And so just looking at my advanced self-review for the week, which is something that I think will be the main thing I'll be sort of recapping, because I think during the week I do quite a bit of technical recaps, both daily on TradingView, which I'll leave a link to in the comments, but then as well in my live backtesting session. And so this advanced self-review is more, I don't want to say the psychological aspect of it, but I think it's probably where a lot of my improvements are going to come. But there are technical components to this. So this is basically data that's extracted from my daily game plan templates, which kind of maps out my plan for the day, my forecasting sessions, and then obviously my check-ins throughout my trading sessions, which has really kind of helped me optimize my sort of decision-making process in the moment and keep track and become aware of that. So this was the day I took the USD JPY long. Again, if you want to see the analysis that led up to that trade, then link to my trading views below. But then also in my weekly live, I did recap that position in a bit of detail. So and then this daily recap section, that kind of just maps what I did well, mistakes I made, things I learned from that, and then what I can do better. And so that's the main information that I take that sort of feeds into my advanced self-review. So that was USD JPY. Pound JPY was a bit different, I think better of the two, just because on UJ there was a small technical misinterpretation on my part that led to that trade not actually meeting all my trade parameters. And so I've actually logged it as an invalid setup, because what I thought was an impulse was actually, what I thought was a protraction was actually just part of the impulse. And then what was actually the protraction was that I took as sort of my entry confirmation for price to go higher. But again, all that detail in the live backtest. This one was clear. Price had established that trend at this point after selling off the entire weekend, breaking some key levels. And so I took this, kind of floated at break even, but then impulse nicely into profit. That's where I moved to half risk. And then this was at NFP where price came up and didn't actually reach my stop level, but obviously due to spreads, my stop loss order was filled. And at the moment, it's frustrating, but I think something that needs some perspective, because there's going to be trades like this that take you out by a pip or two, and then there's other trades that keep you in by a pip or two. So I'm not, I don't think there's anything here that I necessarily did wrong. It's only if over time I notice that it's this recurring theme of me moving to half risk and then my stop gets taken out, that I'll begin to evaluate, because technically I was up about $600 or so, I think, on the day, 1.7, so almost 1,000, actually about 800 or 900. So that's almost a 1:2, and obviously at 1:2, that's where I take partial profits. But then we reversed all the way back. So it may be a factor of, if I know we're heading into an NFP day or a high impact news day, then, I secure some profits. I don't know, but again, it's data over time that will inform the decisions that I make. And so coming back to the advanced self-review template, again, some things that I did well this week was kind of just not taking trades because, there was a lack of clarity, and that, avoided a few losses, and then, staying alert and executed a trade even though I was on the road. That's just because my New York kill zone overlaps with when I finish work. And so for about 15, 20 minutes of that kill zone, I'm on the road and, can't take a trade, just for safety reasons. But on that day, I was able to, just because I had a few stops on the way. And so I just set an alarm and obviously would check the charts whenever that alarm went off, which is typically just like 5 minutes before the 15-minute close. And so, I think just that the alertness throughout that led to taking the one trade. This was the pound JPY trade that I got some good data and feedback from, despite closing that out as a loss. And then, managing my floating risk on a trade to keep it as close to my targeted risk as possible. Just because obviously I'm on a no commission account with Alpha Capital. There is a raw spread account, but their spreads are typically quite low, so I opted for the no commission, but you do still pay swap fees. And so just trying to make sure that the risk or the lot size that I input accounts for those transaction charges as well, so that the total that I close out on a position is, if it's a loss, whether full or partial, is what my planned risk was, and not my planned risk plus my transaction charges, because over time that can eat into my upside. Some mistakes that I made, obviously this technical mistake, just misinterpreting the impulsive leg as a protraction and the protraction as a reversal. And then a recurring theme was just not prioritizing my kill zone session. I'd say not completing it early enough. But obviously, if I'm busy with a task at work and I know that, my kill zone is approaching, and I choose to continue with the work that I'm doing instead of doing, completing my forecast, then that is a matter of not prioritizing. You chose to do one thing before the other. And so I guess that is actually the correct wording. I did not prioritize on your kill zone session, which resulted in a missed trade. I think that was on Wednesday. And I said at the time whether it was a win or loss is irrelevant. I should have taken the trade and did not true to fear. I think on that, I probably would have closed out partial profits and then been taken out at break even. So that is some upside that I missed out on. And then again, completed my forecast too late, which resulted in rushing them. In future, this will lead to missed trades or executing positions that don't align with my plan. Because I find just with myself, when I rush something and I don't give myself time to, especially with my forecasting sessions, do it properly, then I kind of skip out on some detail at times, not always. And that lack of clarity in going into a session then obviously breeds that fear and hesitation. And so, things that I learned is that obviously take the trade if it meets the plan. That comes from clarity, obviously, and obviously that to get that clarity, you need to just allow yourself the time to do something properly. This is just for me extracting what I'm seeing from the week. And then a bit on transaction charges, which I mentioned. And then, just needing to prioritize my forecasting sessions because heading into the kill zone with a lack of clarity, again, breeds fear and hesitation. When I can do better, prioritize. So I think for me, the key thing that I need to work on improving this week was clear And that's prioritizing my forecasting sessions and ensure that I'm starting them at least 30 minutes before the kill zone open. So that's 8:30 for London and 2:30 for New York. And then the one most important thing I should continue doing this week, because I don't only want to focus on the negative sort of things that I need to cut out. I'm also trying to enforce positive behaviors, and exercising clarity and patience in identifying and executing setups is something that I'm really finding is giving me that confidence in my execution, but then also helping me avoid unnecessary losses. And what does that look like as an actionable item? One, I think it's rooted in your plan. I'm at a point where my plan is very thorough and I think quite detailed. And so I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I know what I'm looking for. It also means that I know what I'm not looking for. And so if the plan is clear, then obviously allowing myself the time to go through my forecasting the way I know I need to, allows me to then bring that clarity and focus into my forecasting sessions, so that heading into each kill zone, I'm clear with what I'm looking for. I'm clear with what I'll take as a valid entry confirmation. And then if I see a certain thing, I execute. As well as then if I don't get that, then I know that I'm not executing, and that's fine. And so I think this advanced self-review incorporates quite well my observations from a daily basis to then show me in a very objective way, based on, my thoughts and notes over the week, what the pain points are in my performance, and how I can then enter the next week again with clarity on what I need to dial in on, because there's so many different things as a trader that you can improve on and need to improve on and need to optimize to obviously get to that next level. But in reality, you can't do it all at once. And so I think the systematic approach to working on what the most important thing is in the moment is something that I feel will work quite well going forward. And I'm just keen to see how it plays out over time. So that is the recap for this week. Remember, guys, as always, consistency is the choice you make when you start doing the things you know you should be doing day in and day out.